Well, it feels a while since one of these, doesn't it? A bit of a travel vlog where Zach starts off by complaining that that there is not sausage. I am telling you, Zach, it is sausage, but you can see his mouth moving. He's arguing the fact that that is not a sausage. Yes, it is. Surely by now, with the land of McDonald's, we're used to the flat sausage. He felt a little bit hard done by. But we was off to Romania. 3 ranking tournaments this time, but I only played in the 2 on the Saturday and the Sunday. A flight over, smooth sailing into Romanian land, where we was actually collected in our bolt by, here you'll see, Chris Dobre. Very darting name there, taking us down to Bucharest. As we mentioned, 3 events. Zach deciding to play all 3, as he does. There's one on the Friday night, which was a WWF Bronze event, followed by 2 silver ranked events. Zach didn't get on too well on day number 1, but that's not the theme for the whole weekend. Zach picking up a couple of wins. A couple of things here that you notice. I like the fact that the lanes have these little arrows. Yes, it's the wrong way, but I like the fact that they're trying to guide people one way, so we shouldn't have that bumping together. So good little thumbs up there, and a big thumbs up to the dinner, because once again, myself and Zach finding ourselves a little steakhouse. And not just Zach, look who we've got this time. Jodie coming with us for the trip. We'll see her getting in action a little bit later on. Look at this thing, cleaning the rooms and cleaning the hallways. Pretty cool, that, isn't it? Eh? The way technology is changing these days. Don't even have cleaners anymore in hotels. Bit different, isn't it? But we're there. Zach's played, he's lost 4-0. We've had that first night. We settled in, and we are on to day number 2. Now, here's something you'll notice. I've took a travel board with me. I'll put a link down in the description. I'll do a few links in this video as we go. Because one of the things you notice in these venues is they don't tend to have enough practice boards. 600 players, but there's only around 6 to 8 boards normally. So travel board system, go into the room between matches, and snacks. Snacks are important for long days. Keep the energy up. You have your breakfast in the morning, then snack throughout the day. Popcorn, nice little high energy food in there as well. Jodie played. Jodie took part in the WWF Silver Ranked Women's event as well. And on the first day, probably got one of the toughest draws in the whole event, Paula Jacqueline, who went on to win one of these events. But Jodie actually got a couple of legs in this game herself, so she was really happy with that and decided off the basis of that performance that she's also going to go and play the Sunday as well, which didn't quite go as well. Onto my games and my performance. As you can see here, probably a little bit better than expected. I'm not going to lie, I'm going to be straight up with this. If this event was in the UK and I hadn't already committed to go in there, and Mission wasn't sponsoring it and I didn't have to go and do some bits over there for Mission, I probably wouldn't have gone. Like, the grip issues I've been having recently have been unbearable. You'll notice in the videos I've done already that I've shown I've been struggling with this grip, and also, like, even when I've just been making TikToks, I've been having to constantly regrip and regrip all the time. Now, the issue that we believe this is right now is I've got the mobility back in my wrist. I said that was the good thing. I got the mobility back in my wrist. I can feel in my hand again, which is great. But what we're now noticing is when I turn the wrist and move the wrist, I'm struggling with this finger. So this finger can't come down to the point like it used to, so I'm only able to throw the dart here with the 2 fingers and the thumb. Not the worst thing in the world, that's how Phil Taylor used to throw a dart, so it is something that's workable, but it means I'm having to relearn how to throw a dart again. And going into this, I mean, I was speaking to a couple of people, asked them to have a look, and they're like, look, you're probably best not even going. Like, it's because the dart was kicking. It weren't even landing in flat. So I wasn't expecting anything at all from this tournament. So when you start off like this, nice little victory, 92.49. I'm always focusing on what I'm doing. And the thing was, it started quite well. I hit the bullseye to win the ball. I've kicked off with the 140. I've gone out in 15 darts. I've threw a dart off the board in this leg. So I've threw a dart off the actual board trying to hit a 20. Like, that's, and I thought, oh, this is going to be painful. But it actually was all right. Wasn't too bad. Not a terrible leg there. 18 darter, back with another 15 darter there and a 70 checkout, and then winning the game in the end here in 17 darts. A couple of missed darts at tops could really have bumped that up a little bit more. So I was really encouraged by this, and I thought this was as good as it's going to get. I am not lying when I say I genuinely was worried that I could potentially average in the 60s. And then I went and did this. An average of 105.47. And the game detail here, you'll see. 180 in the first 3 legs. Legs 2 and legs 3, both 140, 180, 140, 180, but I backed it up better there. And there was a couple of missed doubles like this, double 8 here for the 136, a couple of nice finishes there. Bit sloppy in the last leg, but we'll absolutely take that. Now, this is where the real problem came, because now I'm overachieving. I'm doing way more than I expected. I didn't think I'd be average. I genuinely thought I could average 60. I thought if I'm in the 80s, I'll be delighted. And I've gone to 92 and 105. It was quite a lot to take in. I really struggled to come down in the next one. Those 2 games I played with adrenaline, and then after that, it just went like so. I ended up losing in the next game. Thomas Younghans, who played very well, averaged nearly 90 himself. Good performance from him. One of the high-ranked players on the WDF, so no shame losing in that one. And I was actually probably more delighted with the overall day. 92 average for the day. It was the best running average of anyone on that day as well. So more than happy with how that went. A brief trip back to the room to get changed and ready to go enjoy the evening. Zach himself winning a couple of games here, which is the best run he's ever had on a WDF, picking up 2 wins, losing in the 3rd round stage. But you knew where we was going. If you follow these vlogs and these video diaries, you know exactly what happens whenever we go anywhere. Jodie thought it'd be a little bit different with her there. Absolutely not. When we find somewhere we like, we go back to it time and time and time again. So you know what's coming. We went to the steakhouse. However, we had something a little bit different this time. Zach going for the ribs rather than the burger. Jodie went for a steak that didn't quite fit the size requirements she thought it was going to be. She was quite disappointed with that one, but you can't be disappointed with that steakhouse. We went there every single night, so you know there's another visit to there coming up a little bit later on in the video. Now, if this was day 1, I would have been delighted with those numbers, 79, 80 and 79. I'd have been delighted with those. However, because the hope I got from day 1, it kind of was disappointing on day 2. Just didn't have that same sort of feel that I had going into the matches, and just struggled a little bit more. Mostly on my doubles throughout, especially the first 2 games. Really struggling on those doubles in those matches. But overall, I'm pretty happy with that. I am working completely here on a new throw. It's all changed. I'll do a video on that very soon as well, so I can talk through all the different changes and things I've made into my action and the hope that that has given me. So make sure you hit that subscribe button if you want to see those changes to the grip and the throw. I'll talk you all through that, and maybe there'll be a few things in there you could take on board yourself. But that is the trip for the darts done. There's something about Romania, if you remember last time with that glass door. It seems to be like they're like these little spy holes going into bathrooms for some reason. I'm not too sure of that. But it's time to go home. The trip was done. We've had a great journey, lots of encouragement in regards to the darts. What comes next, I don't know. When I play again, I don't know, but I can guarantee you I will. I'm hopefully going to get to a UK Open qualifier in the very near future. That one is for sure. And we'll hopefully be going and doing a couple more WDF events somewhere a little bit later down the calendar. We'll be getting ourselves back on the plane. You make sure you hit the subscribe, and we will be going back on the road again for some more tournaments and some more hopeful good performances. That was encouraging. It was way more than I expected. I am delighted. As far as the event goes, Mission Darts once again proudly sponsoring the event, and what an event it was. Romania, guys, if you are looking to get yourself to a WDF event and you want to get yourself out there and see what it's about, you will not go far wrong with it. They take everything into consideration. They run it properly. They run it professionally. They use things like the Darts Connect system, and also they don't mess around. If you're late, you're timed out. You don't mark, you're out. And you're out for the whole weekend. Someone didn't mark on the Friday, and then they was out. There's nothing worse than standing at the board waiting for markers. The officials did a great job at staying on top of this. If I was to give one tiny bit of feedback, it'll just be looking at a little bit of space between the dartboards. At times, it just felt a little bit cramped in there, and they look like individual partitions. So they've got that curtain now across the bottom, so you can't see under. Maybe you could just put a little partition in, just to separate them a little bit more, to give you that little bit more space. Other than that, even the dartboards, we used the Samurai 4 Graphite edition, and after 3 days worth of play, they still held up really well. You want to know how good these dartboards look and hold up? Just look at this. Absolutely fantastic. That's why me and Andy say that this is possibly one of the best hard-wearing boards in the game right now. 3 days worth, it stood up to the task. I will put a link down in the description for that dartboard if that's something of which is of interest to you, and I will catch you in another video very, very soon.